Good afternoon, everyone. This is the first lead generation strategy that I'm going to go through in our lead generation strategy workshop series that I'll be sending to you via email through the balance of this month. Yesterday, actually on Tuesday, we talked about how to develop a lead generation strategy and the documents and the portion of your business plan that should be devoted to your lead generation strategy, so that when you sit down during your time block to lead generation time, you have a solid plan right in front of you to do. And today we're going to talk about the easiest for sale by owner strategy that there ever was. So that is guaranteed to set you appointments if you execute it exactly how I'm going to teach you today. So I'm just going to dive right into the material. If working with for sale by owners, if you're brand new and you don't know what FSBO stands for, it's for sale by owner. If working with for sale by owners is on your lead generation plan, watch this video for the easiest strategy to convert them into away from listing for sale by owners and into being your seller clients. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do anytime you're preparing to make any type of cold calls or any calls in general is you want to make sure that you're prepared before you actually get on the phone. You want to make sure that you're very confident when you get on the phone and that you have everything in front of you so that you can be in a consistent rhythm making the phone calls. That's the key to a lot of this, especially when you're a new agent. If you have a lot of distractions going on in the room, or you are continually getting up to get things, or you have to prepare in between every single call, you will not get into a good flow of the calls, and it might be tough for you to actually see a return from your effort. So here's some great tips. This is not just for sale by owners, but it's a good tip for any time that you are looking to make any type of phone calls for your real estate business. The first thing you want to do is build a bunker. So anybody that's taken bold knows that that's one of the rules that they have. You want to make sure that wherever you're making the phone calls from is quiet. You'll be uninterrupted. We have signs, actually, pre-made signs that are in our productivity coaching folders for you that you can put on the outside of your door, advising people that it's lead generation time and not a time to be bothering you. You really want to have a focused block of time. So you want to build a bunker. You want to gather the list of the people that you're calling. So this is, the same idea again for any cold calls that you're going to make. For sale by owners in particular, you can get lists from Zillow or for salebyowner.com. You can, as you're driving around, if you see one of those for sale by owner signs, stop by and jot down the phone number. There's lots of places where you can find for free for sale by owner phone numbers. In addition to that, the productivity coaching program has Cole's Realty resource available to you. So if you have a seller that you know is listed for sale by owner but you do not have their phone number, send Robin or I the address of the house, and we can pull their information for you there. And if you do have some phone numbers and you're having trouble getting someone on the phone, you might be able to send us their address, and we can potentially also pull an email address for you. So if you need that resource as well, we have that available to you. It's one of the perks of being in our productivity coaching program. So you want to gather your list beforehand, though, right? So you don't want to start making the calls and then make a phone call and then hang up and then you're back on Zillow searching. You will end up getting distracted, and it will not be an effective use of your time. So gather the list of all the phone calls. Get your rations. Get a water bottle filled with ice cold water, any snacks. If you're going to sit for 3 hours, which is what Gary Keller says, there should be 3 hours of uninterrupted lead generation time every single day, Monday through Friday, then you need to be able to lock yourself in a bunker for 3 hours. That means having snacks, having water, having a soda, whatever you need to feel comfortable that you'll be able to sit and be able to do it. Now, in addition to that, you want to make sure that you have a tracking system while you're making the phone calls. So there's a form that we have that we can provide you with that is basically just a series of numbers on a piece of paper. And as you're making the phone calls, there's a certain way that you can track the dials so that we can start to learn your conversion ratios. Okay, the key to doing this, if again, like we talked about yesterday, if you're making for sale by owners one of your lead generation strategies, you can't just every once in a while call a for sale by owner. It needs to be an actual strategy that's in place where you know how many for sale by owners you need to be talking to at all times, how many new for sale by owners each week you need to find, how many follow-up for sale by owners you need to be following up with each time. We'll touch on all that later in the video, but these are all conversion ratios that you need to know. How many times do you have to actually call a for sale by owner before you can set an appointment with them? If you use my strategy, you should pretty easily be able to set the appointment on the initial phone call, but sometimes you won't. So you want to have a tracking system. This sheet that we have does really help with that. You will track your phone dials, and wouldn't it be so great if you were able to sit down and say, every time I call 5 for sale by owners, I set 3 appointments for myself. And from those 3 appointments, I'm able to convert one of those people to list their property with me now, and I'm able to follow up with the other 2 with at least a guarantee that over the course of maybe 2 months or so, another second one will end up listing with me. What would that mean for your bottom line if you could consistently say that? Now, the only way you're ever going to be able to say that is by having a tracking and a follow-up system. And I will talk about the follow-up system for sale by owners during this video as well. And then you want to make sure that you're practicing scripts and objection handlers. When you get on the phone, that is not the time to practice your script, right? That's not practice time. That is game time, okay? Take an NFL team. How many hours a week does an NFL team practice? Probably, I don't know, 25 hours a week. They practice for a 2-hour game on Sunday, right? Think about any sport that you've played or any instrument that you've played. You would never imagine if you play the guitar and you want to do a new song at a concert that you're performing, that you would just get up the morning of the concert, go to the concert, and then try and strum along and figure out the tunes, right? Of course not. You would always practice beforehand. So if you're committed to making phone calls, any type of calls really, you really need to understand your scripts and the objection handlers that might pop up. I have a script for you. It's going to be on the next screen. We'll go through it. There's plenty of scripts, different scripts for sale by owners. You can find scripts in the folder that we have for you. We have the Ignite script book. We have 3 volumes of other Keller Williams scripts, and we have scripts simplified from the locker room, which is not as long as a lot of the Keller Williams scripts. They're short and concise, and they seem a little bit more conversational. Now, what I will say about scripts is they're super important that you follow the flow of the script, but you also need to practice it so that you don't sound like a robot, right? If you call and it's clear that you're reading off of a script and it's clear that you're like, stumbling all over yourself or all over your words, you're not going to build trust with the seller. From the minute they pick up the phone, it's your job, especially with for sale by owners and expired listings, to build trust with these people as soon as possible. And so if you seem nervous or like you don't know what you're saying or they're out scripting you on the phone, you will not set the appointment. So it's very, very important to have your scripts. Practice your scripts in your car when you're driving around. Practice your scripts in the shower. Practice your scripts when you first wake up in the morning and are brushing your teeth. Practice your scripts to your husband or your wife or your kid or your mom when you're on the phone with her. Really, practice them a lot. Come up with everything that somebody could say back to you, your worst nightmare conversation. Have that out loud. Have it out loud 4 or 5 times so that you feel confident that when it's game time, when you pick up your phone and you start dialing, you know exactly what to say and how to handle the person on the other end of the phone. Because one of 2 things is going to happen when you start to make these calls, okay? Either you are going to out-script the seller, the for sale by owner, and set the appointment, or the for sale by owner is going to out-script you and get you off the phone, because their goal is to get you off the phone and your goal is to set an appointment. So it's really important that you're prepared to say that. So with that said, this is an easy script. This is a script I literally pretty much just made up. And you can also, if you start calling and you see that things are really working, write out your own script for it. If you see every time I say things in this way, it's working really well, write that out. And now you're creating a script manual for yourself of things that you're seeing works. As a side note, this also helps you develop a operations manual so that if one of your goals is to start to grow a team or to add a buyer's agent in or to add an ISA into your program or your team or your business, you will have a whole list of scripts already prepared for them in addition to the scripts that we have for you that they can use. Okay, so here's a script. Hi, Mr. Owner. Of course, you won't say owner, you'll say their name, but hi, Mr. Owner, this is Rita Gildersleeve with Keller Williams Realty Hudson Valley United. I see your home is listed for sale on Zillow. Is it still fully available? They'll say yes. Great. Are you compensating a buyer's agent? They'll probably likely say yes again. So something you should know about for sale by owners. Most for sale by owners will compensate a buyer's agent, whatever they decide, 2, 2.5, or 3, or whatever it is percent, if they bring a buyer to the table. So you want to find that out. So assuming they say yes, you say, great. I'm calling because I work with home buyers all throughout Orange County, and I'm not sure if you are aware, but we are currently in a seller's market here. Inventory is very low. Since it's my job to find my client the perfect home, and I like to go above and beyond for them, I keep a list of all for sale by owners currently available on the market. Would you be interested in being included in this list? They're all going to say yes. There is no reason for them to say no, right? Like there's no harm in saying no. Okay, so you're always going to get buy-in. They're always going to say yes. Great. To be added to this list, I just need to stop by for 10 to 15 minutes this week to preview your home so that I can accurately be able to tell my clients about it. And then you want to set the appointment, okay? So use your favorite closing. I like the alternative close, which is, would Tuesday at 2 or Thursday at 4 work for you? You know, insert 2 times that you're available there and just go right in for the close. If they say, well, you know, all the information is online, you can just get that there. I don't know why you would need to stop by to set an appointment. What you can say is, I totally understand that, and I did look at the listing online. Unfortunately, I do need to see the house in person in order to be able to confirm its condition, and that way I will know it really, really well when I come across a buyer that's looking for a property of your type. Okay, so regardless, your goal is to ultimately set the appointment with them to just come over and preview the house. Now, a couple things about this script. You're not saying anything about listing them for sale. You are not mentioning that you're going to come over and try and get them to for sale by owners. You're not delving into why they're listed as a for sale by owner or anything like that. For sale by owners are generally, they don't want to work with realtors, usually because they want to save on the commission. They perceive that they can do it themselves. So if you call them with the ultimate goal of, well, you're listed for sale by owners, and that's not going to work, so let me just come over and list you or do a listing presentation. I'd love to come over and tell you how I get properties sold in the area. It's never going to work, and you're going to put their defenses up. Now, the second thing is you want to make sure you're not telling them you have a buyer unless you actually do have a buyer that might be interested in their property. Okay, so you don't want to call them and say, I have a buyer that's interested in your property. Can I come and preview it? That's misleading. And like I said, the goal with, especially for sale by owners and expireds, is to start to build rapport, a relationship, and trust with them from the very first minute they pick up the phone. So if you lead them astray like that by making them perceive you have a buyer on the other end, it's going to be an uphill battle to try and get the listing. So this script is short, sweet. You should have no problem setting the appointment with this, and it's not very salesy, right? Most for sale by owners do not want to be sold. Okay, so this is an important note, and this is important to remember. This is a very, very common, I would say the most common mistake that people make when they're making cold calls is that they start to objection handle on the phone. Your one and only goal when you are on the phone with an expired or a for sale by owner is to set the appointment. It is not to objection handle. For sale by owners, it is not to go back and forth about why they're listed as for sale by owners, why they do not like realtors, why they can just sell themselves, why working with realtors in the past was a pain in the butt. You do not want to get into that with any of them. I'm telling you, that is the quickest way to not be able to set an appointment with somebody, is by trying to go into these objection handles. Now, a lot of people, just in general, will start to go down this path because like we said, their ultimate goal is to get you off the phone, and your ultimate goal is to get an appointment set. So in one of the tactics people use is they start to just throw all of these objections at you about why, why they don't want to let you come over, whatever it is. That's why I said it's very important to practice a lot of objection handlers. There's tons of YouTube videos. There's tons of scripts, and the scripts that we have included, there's objection handlers included in all of them. But ultimately, the goal is not to get in the weeds with them and like argue back and forth. The general thing is to acknowledge the complaints, repeat it back to them, and then pivot to setting the appointment. Okay, so for example, if they say, sure, I can set the, you can come over and preview the house, but I just want to let you know we're not listing it with a realtor. I understand that you're not listing with a realtor, Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Seller. That's not the reason for my phone call today. I am really just looking to come over and preview your home. It will only take about 10 to 15 minutes. So would Tuesday work for you? Okay. You have to acknowledge the objection so that they understand that you heard them, right? You don't want to brush past it. You want to pivot then to setting the appointment. This is this tactic is very good in a lot of things: negotiations, dealing with your clients who might be having problems during their transaction, or negotiation when you're trying to get them to create a win-win solution with the other side. Sometimes you have to, negotiate almost with your client to get them to come up with a reasonable solution. And one of the easiest ways to do that is by agreeing, not so much agreeing, but just acknowledging what their complaint is, so that they understand that you hear them, and then pivoting towards a solution. Okay, be solution based. Don't play in the muck with the problems. Okay, so now you set the appointment. Woohoo! So now what you want to do during the appointment is tour the home and build rapport. So obviously show up on time. This is really important, not realtor time. Show up on time for the appointment to the minute. Walk up to the door. You want to tour the home, ask them questions about repairs that they've done or work that they've done, compliment them a lot. No one will deny a compliment. Ask them questions if you see a golfing trophy or a baseball, in the kids' room, whatever you need to do, continue to establish your relationship with them. And in the process while you're touring it, try to identify a pain point that the first sale by owner might be experiencing. Typical pain points that first sale by owners have are no showings at all, lots of showings, but no offers, meaning that there's people coming to see the house, but they might not really be qualifying them beforehand. So there might just be looky-loos or people that really, they have no way to follow up with. Very low offers. That's another thing with first sale by owners. They do attract a lot of investors that will come in, and because people see that they're not represented by a professional, they perceive that they can lowball them. Annoyance at having to pre-qualify people or having non-qualified people come to the house. Annoyance with having to have the house prepared for showings, having to be home and present, because usually first sale by owners don't, have a lockbox on their house. You want to make sure that they have to be actually there to tour people around. Sometimes that's annoying. So try and identify a pain point with them during the tour. At the end of the appointment, you want to thank them essentially and hand them a complimentary for sale by owner packet that I'm going to go over with you. Right now, and then ask if you can call them weekly to check the availability of the home. The script is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, thank you for allowing me to preview your home. I'm going to add it to my for sale by owner list for my buyer clients. Now I know especially with the market that we're in right now, at any time someone could come along and give you an offer. So to make sure that my list is up to date for my clients, I call everyone on Wednesdays between 2 and 3 o'clock. Would it be okay for me to call you weekly just to check the status of your home? Okay, now again, you're not calling them to list them, you're just calling them to check the status of the home. And this is part of your follow-up system for your first sale by owners, okay? Okay, now this is the packet that I typically hand them, and it's all super easy to pull together. I would pre-make like 20 of these packets and just have them so you can run out the door at a moment's notice. I would also keep some of them in your car so that you can, if you're driving by and you see a for sale by owner sign in the yard, you can stop and go knock on the door and hand them to them there. So the first thing that I do is in KW Command. Okay, this is in Sketch House within KW Command. If you don't know how to use this, please go and take a class on this in the Market Center. Ask to sit with Dale or Aaron. They will show you how, they will teach you how to use Command. This is our new interface. It's very important that you understand how to use it. So I'm not going to teach you how to get into it. That could be a whole different video on its own, but just so you know, once you are into the system, over here you can choose a template. I chose a local expert, and there are all of these templates here that can show you as the local expert of choice. Now, this can be local market information. This one's a local market update. This one is how your business compares to the business of HGAR. One thing to note, so you will hear that there's a document called the LORE report. It's LORE. It is put out in our private Facebook group and by email by Aaron every single month. It is a great template that you can use to showcase how our office as a whole is outpacing the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors on many metrics that are important to homeowners. So use that graphic while you're working on building your own numbers. Even once you have your own numbers, still continue to use that graphic. It's a great piece, marketing piece that you can use to show that when people list with a Keller Williams Realty Hudson Valley United agent, they have a big presence behind them in Orange County. So you want to put together one of these. This is really going to be your only salesy kind of pitch here. So you're going to put together that. I go into HGAR and I go into market reports and fast stats. If you don't know how to use InfoSparks and fast stats, this is another important class that we teach in the Market Center a lot that you can go in and take. It is really up-to-date market information that's very detailed and can be really, really important for you to use on your listing presentations, right? Sellers are depending on us to understand market and market conditions, and they want to know what's going on in the market. That's one of the main reasons that they depend on realtors for. So you can go in and very quickly say the house is in Goshen. You can pull up statistics for Goshen in 5 seconds, okay? Print this out so that they have this. Again, it's useful information. What you're trying to do is provide value to the for sale by owner, not necessarily even convert them to listing with you just yet. You want to provide value to them but with this complimentary packet. So so this is definitely value for them so that they can see what the market's doing. It's helpful, especially in this market. If their house is sitting and other houses are selling that are listed by realtors, it's a great subconscious kind of marketing thing to give to them to show them that, hey, there are a lot of houses selling, and if yours isn't, it could be because you're for sale by owner. Okay, then another thing that I give them is a for sale by owner safety tip. I will make this document available to you in our Facebook group, and also there is a folder in our productivity coaching resource. What did I call this thing? The for sale by owner productivity coaching resources Google Drive folder. There is a document here that you can use. This is for sale by owner safety tips. You want to make sure you fill in your own name up here and yes, send this out to them. This is great because it highlights the risks really that these homeowners are taking on by not listing with a realtor, right? So it's reminding them that they need to vet people and get their contact information, and they should have driver license and license plate information. Never let a potential buyer know your schedule. Don't ever let them know when you won't be home, when your spouse won't be home, when you pick up the kids. Never give a caller information about your home security system. Always have a backup plan when you allow strangers into your home, especially if you have children. So there's a lot of, it's a very good information here that's really important to keep them safe, but also it might spark something in their brain that, oh, I never thought of that. This is actually could be dangerous that I am now I have my house listed online and I am not working with professional licensed realtors. What I'm doing is I'm just allowing strangers to come in and out and I'm showing them around. There's a lot of things that could go horribly wrong here. This might be the tipping point that really leads them to say, okay, I really should be listed with a real estate agent. Never let strangers loan your house. So this is just a really good document to provide. And again, it has nothing to do with, hey, come and list with me. I'm so great. For sale by owner doesn't work. Nothing like that. It's just subtle things that will help them pose themselves as, you know, as whether or not it's really worth it to them to be listed as a for sale by owner and if it's being effective. I typically also throw in an article or two about safety tips, or not safety tips, about home maintenance tips. So how to increase your curb appeal, how to take your own real estate pictures, how to declutter, how to stage a home yourself, the newest trends in paint colors, whatever it is, like some type of tip or item of value, like an article of sorts that you can pull from our marketing. Again, we have a lot of email templates that have these tips in them already that you can just print out as a PDF, and it will be customized with all of your information on it already. So you can print all of that out, put it together in a nice packet. On the front, make a nice cover, like put together a nice little book for them. Again, this is your marketing piece, so this is what you're leaving with them to showcase what you can do. Okay, so put all this together. If you have questions about how to put this together, let me know. Now, the goal is then to get their agreement to follow up with them, right? With any lead generation you do, you need to have a follow-up plan. So after the appointment, what you want to do is make sure you get the seller's email address. You want to add the seller into command and send them their neighborhood website so that they can keep track of the market. Our neighborhood websites are really cool. They show all of the active listings, what's under contract, what's sold. They show the local restaurants in the area. There's a lot of market stats, and they are automatically updated, and as time goes on, they will start to be customized towards each person. So make sure you get them into command, into your database on a drip campaign, and have their neighborhood website set up for them. You want to call them at the weekly designated time to check the status, right? You told them you're going to call them, make sure you do. So when you call them, what you want to say is, hi, I'm Mr. Jones, it's Rita again with Keller Williams. Hey, how's the house going? Any offers this week? No offers. Oh, okay, no offers. So still fully available. Okay, and oh, this is a side note. When you're on the appointment, you might find out what their motivation for selling is. Where are they moving to? Why are they selling? So on and so forth. Oh, okay. And you still want to get to Florida by January, right? Oh, all right. So you're still looking to get an offer by October, then I would figure at the latest. Okay, but still fully available. Hey, did you notice that that your neighbor's house listed just last week? And I heard that they had multiple offers on it within a week's time. Did any of those buyers come over to see your property too? No. Okay, well, just know, Mr. Seller, if you ever change your mind and are interested in listing with a real estate agent, I would love to come over and tell you what I do to get homes sold in a quick time. If not, I will be giving you a call next week to make sure that your house is still available, okay? And then just keep following up with them in that way, okay? Bring up any pain points you've experienced on the way. Oh, did you have was it another low offer? Are you still, remind me again, where are you advertising the house for sale? You know, build rapport with them to try and figure out what the pain points are. Now, you also have to be ready, though, to close them for a listing appointment as soon as the time is right, because studies show that 80% of for sale by owners are listed within 2 or 3 weeks of listing themselves. They are listed with an agent, okay? They see that it's hard work. They realize the potential safety issues. They realize they actually can't do it themselves. They're frustrated with the response that they're getting or the offers they're getting or the buyers that they're getting. And so they decide to list, with the realtor. And so the key to this strategy is the follow-up, because going on that one appointment is not necessarily going to get you the listing. Although sometimes you could hit the jackpot and go, the for sale by owner might have reached their tipping point that day, and you could convert them to signing and listing with you while you're there on the appointment. More than likely, it's going to be more so of a follow-up. Now, most sellers and buyers work with or only interview up to 2 agents before deciding which one to work with. Most it's one. It's someone that's referred to them, someone that comes to them from online, someone that they're familiar with from farming, or they're just, you know, familiar as the realtor in the area, and they'll go with that person. The number after 2 drops off significantly. So if you're not in the top 2 in mind space for the seller when the time comes for them to be listed with an agent, you will not get the call back. So just going to preview the house and not following up with them at all is not going to get you any listings, okay? But going to preview the house, following up with them, and calling them on a weekly basis, continuing to build rapport and a relationship with them, is what will set you apart from the rest of the realtors, because I guarantee, even though all 50 of you might be watching this video, that maybe only a small handful of you will actually execute on it the way that the system is intended to be executed on. And those of you that do will end up with the appointment and will end up with a consistent stream of income from for sale by owners. So make sure that you're doing that follow-up. If the seller seems frustrated, just make sure you're always ready to close. And as a bonus, you are now really compiling a list of for sale by owners in the area, and you are going and previewing these homes. So now in our low inventory market that we're in, you do have a valuable list of for sale by owners in the area that you can provide to your buyers. This is a value add for your buyer leads too, right? So you really are compiling this list that you're telling the seller about, and you're compiling a list for your buyers. So now you've developed an additional value proposition for your buyers as well. Okay, so quick, easy, fast. I hope that you find that this is an easy strategy that you are able to execute on. I want to hear all your wins. If you make these calls and you do it this way, please let me know when you set an appointment. I have someone in the group that I shared this with on a one-on-one coaching call, and she text messaged me literally the next morning and said, hey, I did exactly what you said, and I set an appointment. So I know that it works. I've used it before. Use it. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions about any of this, please reach out to me. And I look forward to hearing about all of your successes.